we recording? Is it the thunder and lightning? Okay, let's have another go. Oops. No idea why it didn't continue to record, because I think I might have just turned it off for what I said. So, oh yeah, we were here, weren't we, going through? So make sure you line it up. Hopefully that's roughly through. Don't worry about burr outs on the other side, we'll deal with them. We'll do this one at the same time. Same thing, line it up. Right, next drill. So we'll go with an 8 this time. Now the reason we're going with an 8 is because this will be the last hole we go all the way through, and I'll explain in a minute. Right. So the reason we're only doing that is because they're what we're going through. So they need to go through, and I can't drill the same size hole on the front because I want that back hole to offer some support so it doesn't rock around too much. Because what we're using is riv nuts. So it's a compressible collar that goes on the end of a tool that scrunches it up and it pins that in there. So this hole here needs to be an 11 to fit an M8 thing. So that needs to go all the way in, and we're just going to drill through the top this time. Right, so they're spot on. The reason I said don't worry about burr out is because we're just going to use a little engineering hack. So instead of using the countersink, you can actually use a large drill. Just get a quick tickle and it'll take any burrs off. Shows you can't see what I'm doing. That's it, all the burrs are gone, smooth as anything now, like a baby's bum. Same thing, down again. Oops, spin it around so you can see what we're doing. So get them off now. What we should have is 2 holes in the same place, as vertical as we can get them using a hand drill. Then we're going to use these. So I've already calibrated this to where it needs to be. So basically you put that on there like that. And I want it so the thread's just coming through. They're not giving me enough leverage on there. What happens is that bit there will scrunch up and it screws into that bit there then. So nice fit, make sure you're nice and upright. Give it a squeeze. Back off. A couple of turns. Again, a couple of turns. You'll get to a point where you can't bring it anymore. That's probably the limit. And wind it out. It should have pinched itself. Same for the other one. There we go. I'll get it all in one go this time. That's it, as far as it goes. If I go any further, I'm actually risking stripping the threads out. So, if you might have seen one I used a riv nut on the mount field when I was repairing that, and the riv nut tool was absolutely knackered and it's eaten my finger. Got a massive blood blister thanks to that one. Where's the other foot? I've lost a foot. There it is. So we're just going to screw these through, and you should see they come out the other side. So riv nuts are okay at pinning stuff in, but they won't take much side to side movement, so the screws got to come through. So you can see I can get quite a bit of up and uppity downy on this. But what we don't want is a big screw sticking through like that for you to rag your toes on, lather your tights on, do whatever. So you could put, you know, a little cap on the top of it, but what I thought was, if I stick something on the end of that can't come off, then it limits me unscrewing it too far. So what I've got is I've got a couple of these. So they are dome top, capped nuts, whatever you want to call them. We're going to put them on, and I'm going to liquid thread lock them on as well. So that when you wind this out, it'll actually go down so far and actually stop then, so you can't wind it out any further. Which will be quite good, especially if these start wriggling loose. They shouldn't do, because you can feel there's actually a bit of pressure on the side of that hole anyway. So liquid thread lock, that's just blue, it's not the red. I haven't got any red, and I couldn't be bothered to go and dig the other one I've got out, which is a bearing thing, which probably would have done it. So just give it a good dollop in there, not too much, and then when it winds itself up, get all that lovely liquid thread lock in. Now what I've done is I've got the two slightly different nuts I've run out of all the same ones, because these are ones I bought to do motorbikes ages ago. So I probably only bought 6 or 10, and these are just spare what I've got, finishing bolts. So that's on now, and then when you wind them out, you can only wind them back out so far before you hit the bottom of the bolt, and that's it. So, and the good thing about it is it doesn't affect the way it folds up, because if you'd have put the piece of wood under there like some people have done, that brings that out, and then that takes into your wardrobe or whatever it is where you're stacking them up. But there you go. So anybody's got a Swift motorhome, I think that's not a bad way of doing it. To be honest, they look quite nice. If you catch that with your socks, you're not going to ladder your socks. It's not sticking up. You know, it's not going to rag your arms. It's not going to get stuck on something. You can wind them all the way down. You can wind them all the way back. And I can't understand why you'd want to wind them any less than that. And even when you're outside now, if on surface is a bit of a wobble, because you take your tables outside, you've got a bit of a wobble on, you can just wind it down now. So you've got about 2 inches worth of play altogether across one side. You can drop one down, lift the other one up. So I think that's we'll call that a quick win for a shorty. How's that then? Right, we'll stick that up on the Rio and Swift sites as well, I think. Right, Lockdown Workshop, like and subscribe. Job's done.